it's like somebody got a JD, a PhD, and an MD, right? Talk about the highest degrees you
The
can
highest
possibly get.
degrees.
She defended 3 dissertations. Well, hello. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
And Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast. We are passionate about good music and a great vocal. As of right now, we will always use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take and our feedback on each contestant. Although we may come off a little pitchy at times, if you know what I mean, we'll always do our best to speak our best. I'll say that again. We'll always do our best to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect.
Yes, we will. We'll try.
And yeah, y'all, you know what? Stephanie and I haven't said this in a long time, but life be lifing. We are real people with real lives. And right now, I just have to thank God for this, but I'm in a very, very busy time in my life, both professionally and personally, and personal/professionally. So
yeah,
we get it in where we can fit it in.
Yes.
So I may be a little abbreviated with my responses or with my actually choices today, but doesn't mean I'm not less passionate about them.
Right.
It's just I'm on borrowed time. And Stephanie and I got to get this in. So how you doing, Stephanie?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Because by this age, ain't many people are listening.
Right. Right. Not to complaints. Ain't changing a thing.
Complaints are for the kids.
Yes.
Because we have to listen to
Yes, them. Unfortunately. Yes.
Okay. So you all, we are in our kind of reflective period of season 26, The Voice, and we always like to go back and reminisce about the wonderful season and give our best of with each category. Even though season 27 fastly approaches us, so we're going to have to get creative.
Yeah.
But we don't have that many more rounds to go.
No, we don't.
So this round that we are on are the playoffs. And Stephanie, I have to tell you, this was probably my most difficult selection. There are going to be some surprises. There are going to be some omissions. And I'm proud of my omissions because I want to talk about, I really want to focus on what I thought was the best.
Okay.
And how I think this round, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, you all, this round was not fair for who got to stay versus who got to go. I just got to keep it real with you all because in watching a lot of these performances back, and I'm just going to make this statement, just an overall statement. I'm not going to specify who I am referring to, but some of the people, in my opinion, who went to the lives gave, to me, a good enough performance. I am at the age now, you all, and at the point in my life where I'm not looking for good, I'm not looking for great, I'm looking for spectacular. And I feel my choices today are the spectacular singing that happened. And I feel like some of our favorites who went on to the lives and who went very deep in the show, in my opinion, just gave good enough performances. They were good, but they weren't anything near what I'm about to come with my list. So sorry, I had to get on my soapbox, but that's how I feel about this round. Very passionate.
We'll get there because I have a lot to say as well.
Oh, good. I know. You know what, Stephanie? Why do I even have to give a disclaimer to you? I don't know.
Oh, that wasn't for me. That was for the audience. I know that wasn't for me.
No. But you and I'm saying that.
Okay, I understand.
You all need to understand. We don't discuss, we don't have a meeting. Say, okay, well, this is how we're gonna play it. Or this is how the angle we're gonna give for this round. No, we just come on and we talk.
Right.
And a lot of times, Stephanie and I would say 8.5 to 9 times out of 10, we
agree.
see eye to eye.
Absolutely.
That's all
Absolutely.
I'm saying.
Okay.
But yes, Stephanie's exactly right. This was for all of you.
Yes.
So you may disagree with me, you all, but this is my personal opinion. How did you feel about this round, Stephanie? As a whole?
Quickly, I'll say that I think that there were a lot of, you don't get to this point in the season without there being a lot of good performances, and I think that there were. I think that there were some outstanding performances that were not properly honored by those folks going to the lives. And I think that this show really revealed that it is not only about the voice, that it is indeed a reality show with a script, with a vision, with a clear vision of what they want to have happen by the end. And that's fine. I think that they have gotten better at cultivating more talented people so it's not as obvious. However, I do feel like there were some people that were so outstanding that it did not make any sense that they did not make it into the lives.
And as the late 90s, I believe either late 90s or early 2000s group, 3LW once said, players are going to play and ballers are going to ball. So I like that reference. You remember that song? Players are going to play and ballers. So players are going to play, y'all.
Yeah.
So here we go. As always, please, 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 if you would just bless us with subscribing to our Patreon.
Yes.
The Picture Podcast is now on the Patreon for just $5 a month. You can get our bonus content, a little bit more saucy sometimes content, and some you'll get first reveals for episodes and bonus content on things like honorable mentions and people we don't get to talk about on the regular episode. So please subscribe for $5 to the Patreon, you all.
$5.
All right, Stephanie, let's jump right in.
Okay.
I'm going to come in strong, and I'm going to come in, and so you're going to see where my list is going. Believe it or not, at number 5, I have Jeremy Below with The Impossible Dream.
Yes, and I'll reach the unreachable.
Jeremy, something he did this round that I loved. He showed us, I think, some of the most range as far as dynamics, because everyone knows that Jeremy has a dramatic, bombastic, huge voice. But I think a lot of, and you're going to see this about a lot of my choices for this round, Jeremy came in like, oh so soft, oh so delicate, oh so sweet. This song is a journey. Yes, and I love that you can tell that Jeremy is a musical theater person because he knew the assignment. Right. So he gave us the story, he arced it, and then something that he did that blew my mind is everyone waits for the big note, star, at the end of it. But no, what did Jeremy do?
Falsetto.
He pulled it back at the end and made everyone like go. And that's why I was like, you know what, Jeremy, I was like, if he don't make the lives at this point, I said, I'm gonna get up and walk away. As he did.
He did.
And we were so glad he did.
Yeah.
This song is very near, really quick, the song is very near and dear to my heart. This is actually the song that I sang at my high school graduation. Just to give you all a little, many, many, many years ago.
Just a few.
A little background. My actual high school, I was the last graduating class from my high school before it was being torn down and rebuilt as a new high school that is nothing like the original. So yeah, this song holds a very, very special place in my heart. And I just was like, I'm not worthy, Jeremy, because it was just so glorious. You all have to understand, especially musical theater performers, the best know when something is in the context of the show. You're going to perform it differently than if you are on a singing competition or a showcase.
Right.
And Jeremy knew the assignment and aced the assignment because he sang it as if it were a showcase.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Very
so
true.
That's my number 5, Jeremy and The Impossible Dream from the Man of La Mancha musical.
It was an outstanding performance. Outstanding. My number 5 is Shye, Story of My Life, One Direction.
The story of my life. take her home. I drive all night to keep her warm, and time is frozen.
First of all, R.I.P. to Liam Payne.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that this particular performance showed a lot of artistic instinct that you would not expect from Shye. Because of her age, and just because she kind of comes off as just like, I'm just kind of here. I'm having, this is great. The young lady is brilliant, and I think that this particular song and the way that she performed it showed us why. She has a natural yodel to her voice that she used a lot in this performance. Again, I thought she had just great artistic instinct about what to do, especially particularly like with those yodels, where to place them, how to do them, how to make them make impact. I thought that she made really great melodic choices within this song that were different from the original, but definitely made it her own. This song in and of itself shows off her range because it starts real low, down tonight, and then she's the story of my life. I'll take her home, and it's a great song to show her range. Girlfriend even did some yodel runs, like it started in the yodel and then it ran down. I was like, what? You got that too? My gosh. She showed herself off in this performance as well as a beautiful and dynamic performer. I think that she really lights up on stage, which is cool to see. And it showed her as a communicator of lyric as well, because she told the story of the song to the point that I actually looked up the words to this song, and I never have. But she made me pay attention to the song and be like, oh, that's what. Like, oh my God. Oh, all right. Like, dang, story of your life. But that's how impactful of a communicator she was, that I wanted to make sure that I was actually hearing her right. Like, wow. So, Shye, number 5, story of my life.
Good choice.
One Direction.
Good choice. But dun, 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 Shye did not make my list for this round.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. So I'll volley it back to you for your number 4, Stephanie.
Okay, so my number 4 is Jan Dan, Dust in the Wind, Kansas.
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the
wind. This was a standout performance to me for Jan Dan.
Yeah.
It transformed how I saw him as an artist from this point forward, and it made me look at him different. Number 1, Dust in the Wind. Like,
right.
All right. Like, okay, like, beautiful song, just not expecting it from you. However, the song fit his voice like a glove. It was in a really sweet spot in his range as he sang it. I felt like this song was the most that he let us in to see him. I felt like I was getting to know him as a person as he was performing this song. By the middle section to the end, he was adding runs and making melodic choices to the song that really made it his own. What I love is what you usually ask for an artist to do at the beginning of a song, James, is to kind of give us the basic of the song to start out with.
When a song has such a great melody, you have to sing it.
Yeah, and he did. And then by the time you get to the middle and end, he was doing, like I said, these runs and these choices. He was adding like these gospel inflections. It sounded very Stevie Wonder to me by the end of the song, which I thought was beautiful. He added this growl in his voice that enhanced the song by like adding to the pain that you feel in the song. Like, all we are is dust in the wind. It's the truth. Like, if you really understand what that lyric means, then you understand why he added some of the growl and some of the grit in his voice to accentuate the pain of the lyrics. But by the end, I was like, where can I download this? Because this is it sounded like art. it sounded like art. So
Yeah.
Jan Dan, number 4, Dust in the Wind.
Nice choice. My number 4 was Jose Luis.
Mm.
No More Drama.
Mm-hmm.
I put off the shoes, whether we win or lose, and I choose to win.
Which is interesting because I don't know if you caught it in the YouTube liner notes, but someone called this song "No More Pain," and I was like,
I mean, Mary says that, but
exactly. But okay, so this song actually we have heard like over the years people do it on singing contest shows.
mm-hmm.
This to me, because I'm going to follow it up again, because Jose Luis was another one with a gigantic voice.
Yeah.
And as Jeremy has. What's going on with me and the Jays? So I felt Jose Luis gave us like, it's like he held, I'm trying to say this the best way I know how without like saying that but it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he held back. I felt like
Controlled.
The controlled, thank you. I felt like it was very controlled, and literally controlled through the whole song.
Whole song.
Like it was almost a controlled rage by
1000%.
the end.
Mhm.
Where I have heard good renditions of this song where people like go crazy at the end, like you know, like gospel growls and things like that.
Right.
And we all know that Jose Luis could do that if he wanted
You
to.
wanted to.
But I felt like the artistic choices that he made were PhD.
Right.
Because he's like, I'm not going to give you dynamically all of me. I'm going to, again, bring you in, and I'm going to show you pain and anguish in a different way.
Come on.
And that's why I felt this was such a special version.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest version, like rendition of this song that I've heard in this context on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I've heard great versions of this song, and I do like Stephanie and I love a good holler. Okay, we love hollerations, we call it.
Give me holleration.
I felt like Jose Luis. You know why, Stephanie? It's because that's what I was expecting him to do.
Come on. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
He has that type of voice.
Yeah.
But the fact that he even toward the back half of the song where it's a breakdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like they always say, you know, oh, you're not fed up enough.
Right.
Well, in this song,
you're through.
You are. You get fed up.
You're through.
Like you're done.
Yeah.
At the end, you're done. Like, and I just felt like it was magical to me what he did and the choices and the nuances he did. He made you, to Stephanie's point that she did with that she talked about with Shye, he made you listen to the lyrics of the song because they can be lost on the back half when you have the breakdown.
Right.
And I felt like it was a controlled breakdown. And that's why in Jose Luis, I don't want you to think that I'm like, oh, but I know the type of voice you have, and I wanted you to holler it out. No. I was expecting you to holler it out, and you didn't, and you made me think of you at even more of a more greater artist and level.
Absolutely.
And that's why he is my number 4.
All right. Very good.
I love it.
So what's your number 3?
I love number 3. I'm sticking with the Jays. Is Jan Dan.
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Yeah, man. So everything is dust in the wind.
So I try to keep a poker face. You all, let me tell you something. And I'm going to get serious for a minute. There are, I don't think as much anymore in today's day and time, but Stephanie and I grew up in an era of music where people of a certain color or race were expected to stay in their lane. And when and it's like there were only a few that were allowed to kind of like get outside of their lane or transcend lanes, as they say.
Right.
Like there were like 4 artists when Stephanie and I were little kids when MTV came on the scene. Give you all a little history. There were like 4 Black artists that were played on MTV at one time, like in the early years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that Jan Dan did with this song is he transcended genres,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everything that Stephanie did, I ditto that. I second, third, fourth, and fifth that. Jan Dan, this is where I had a whiplash. Like I whipped my head like, excuse me? Is he doing what I think he's doing? Not the song. I'm talking about vocally. Is he doing what I think he's doing? Okay? Especially the back half of that song. Jan Dan had probably, as far as vocal quality, probably my favorite vocal quality on this season.
So pure.
Because his voice was so different, had such a different tone.
Yes.
Almost, and this is not to come off bad, almost like a metallic sound. Like that's the best word I can use to describe it.
I like that.
Like tingy almost.
Yeah. Yes. Kind of just
in the mask.
In the mask. Yeah.
And it was just, and it pierced, right? It was a piercing sound.
Cut.
And then he showed you that he could sing anything, and he showed you that I'm gonna take a song, like a folk 70s, 80s song, and I'm gonna gospelify it. I'm gonna it shows to me how melding music is of genres.
Mm-hmm.
And Jan Dan was the bridge, right? He was the bridge that melded genres together.
Yeah.
It was so brilliantly sung. And I was just almost taking notes at the end. I was a student because I didn't understand some of the things that he was doing at the end. He was inventing runs.
Yes.
We used to follow this person on YouTube. He's like, "Ooh, in here!" Right?
Yeah.
How did he hear
that?
Some of those runs that he created?
Yes.
In that melody,
yes.
And it was so melodic, but it was also dissonant.
Yeah.
It clashed with it, but clashed in the perfect way.
Yeah.
And it was just insane. And he went from, oh, he has a nice voice, to actually one of my front runners.
Right.
That was the whiplash performance where I was like, well, who the freak is that?
Where you been, bro? Where you been?
Jan Dan, to me, it was almost as if I'm gonna be good enough, and then I'm gonna show you in the round where it really counts, where I need to
right.
As he did,
right,
and he was the dark horse. He was the one that kind of came out of nowhere,
right,
and was and it was crazy.
Very good.
Just in the win, number 3.
Very good. My number 3 is Sofronio Vasquez crying Roy Orbison. Now, because there will be a lot of Sofronio, and there has already been a lot of Sofronio on my list, I had pause about this one because I thought first of all, song choice again. Now, this is not a song of my era, so I was just kind of like, here we go, giving Sofronio another one of these old time songs. Right. And the first half was good. He sang it down. Sofronio will never not sing a song good. So the first half of it, I was like, okay, that was good. Brother got to the mid to the end of the song, and all he did was holler. And that can have a bad connotation, like he was just hollering. No, he was singing, but it was complete and total snappage from the back half to the song on. It was complete holleration. And what I wrote down is that if he was crying, the song is crying, if he's crying, then that stage just went through a Category 5 hurricane. It was completely flooded. That's how much crying he was doing. He was wailing, and his esophagus was left on the stage. Like, there was nothing more that his throat could give after the song was over. So as much as it did give me pause, because there were other really great performances in this round, I had to add him solely for the mid to back half of this performance, because he hollered to the gods and he made himself undeniable, even with a song that was just so, in my opinion.
Yeah, I again, Sofronio did not make my list. So you all can, and you know what? And I'll tell you why, Sofronio. And
Okay.
Shye did not make my list, but you got to check in for the Patreon for that, you all.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
I'll tell you why they didn't make my list. It was Sofronio. It was, and I'm not taking anything away from him. It was what I had come to expect from the winner.
Right. Like, pretty much. I don't
think this guy, he never missed, y'all.
He didn't miss. He did not miss
any song that you ever gave him.
That's right.
He didn't miss.
That's right.
All right. So you're number 2.
Okay. So my number 2 is Jose Luis, No More Drama, Mary J. For all the reasons that you already explained, which was why I could say controlled when you were trying to figure out which word to use, because all of this stuff is stuff I've already thought about. Hardest song to sing. Mid-tempo songs are very difficult. Add in a lot of words to a mid-tempo song. Has to have incredible breath support. Range for days in this song. Controlled rage is what he showed. So many interesting, different, cool melodic changes and choices. Used his growl masterfully to tell the story of the song. Jose Luis was singing from a real place. When he shook his head and he was like, I was like, he finished. He's done. He's speaking this he's singing this from a real place. Mary would be proud if she heard this cover. Complete holleration that shattered the stage, and this is why, because it was controlled. There was a song out years ago when I was little, When a Woman's Fed Up. When a woman's fed up, she don't argue no more. She just lets you go and be like, she don't care, okay? When we still fight, we care. Jose Luis was explaining that in this song, we're at the point where we don't care. So that means that we can still show rage and anger, but we're not going to go off because it's not worth our energy anymore.
Well, when a dude's fed up, we shut down.
All right, but we ain't talking about y'all. When I'm talking about ladies, when we don't fight no more, when we don't give you all that energy that means we're done. And I think that it was a brilliant take on this song to show that controlled rage. Like, I'm angry. That's how I feel. But you're not going to take all of my energy. I'm going to let you know that I'm angry, but I'm going to do it in a controlled way. And he slayed. He slayed it.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Because we know, again, I know it sounds like a broken record, y'all, but we know where he could have gone with the song because he had the voice
exactly.
For it. But then we were like, whoa.
I was like, oh, this is even scarier. That's what I was like. I said, this is scarier.
Stephanie, what? To your point, that's how I know when I'm in real trouble, when my wife gives me that controlled rage.
Yeah.
When she gets real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. Let me straighten up and fly right.
Right, I really effed up now, right? I done really effed.
All right. So my number 2, I don't know how I missed this one. I don't know how. I must have been one of those weeks where I was either sick or busy or whatever.
Okay.
I think you did playoffs by yourself.
Okay.
Freaking Austyns. What? Austyns?
Oh, he did Adore. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you're doing Prince. Okay, number one, Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing Adore.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I can relate it to, it was as if Maxwell in his prime,
Right.
like when Maxwell did the infamous or famous Unplugged,
Mm-hmm.
it was like he did Adore in the style of as if he were singing a woman's work,
Yeah. Yeah.
but singing Adore.
Right.
And I was like, well, what the frunk is this?
You was
Like,
close. You was
I
close.
was just sitting there like, and then it just kept going higher,
Yeah.
and it just kept like
Yeah.
he was on our neck, and like we had stopped breathing like 3 minutes ago.
Right.
DOA, y'all.
Right.
DOA, dead on arrival.
DOA.
Like he did not let off the windpipe, okay, with his foot. Okay?
Didn't.
Couldn't breathe. You couldn't breathe. Austyns gave like there weren't even molecules of crumbs left. Like he did not let go
Mm-mm.
through the whole song. And did you see like the way the judges were going bananas?
Yes.
Like, he just kept going,
Mhm.
like, and it was just, first of all, this song is crazy difficult.
Mhm.
Okay. It's Prince, and it's Prince in his falsetto. And everyone knows, other than like Freddie Mercury, you don't get better falsetto
Right.
than Prince.
Right.
Right. And it's a song with a lot of holleration. It's a song, but Austyns was like adding runs to it. He
Mhm.
was but doing it all in his falsetto.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you just need to. And then the very last second, he dropped it back down into his
The
chest.
very last second.
I can't, Austyns. I can't. Stephanie, it was just crazy.
It was. This was definitely one of the ones on my list.
Woo!
To be honest,
And song choice, A+.
see, I go back and forth with this song.
Oh, you don't like Adore?
It's not that I don't like it. It's not one of my. It's
not one of your favorite.
It's
Prince
not
songs.
one of my favorite Prince songs. I think he
Oh.
sang the crap out of it. I think he did an incredible job. It was
Sang
incredible.
that song.
He sang that ish down. He really did. So I'm glad you added him. I really am.
Yeah, Austyns. And actually, I debated because I know our number ones are the same, but I debated if he was going to be my number one because maybe it's because I forgot or didn't remember listening to this one or
Yeah.
something.
Shock
I just
value.
was
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the Untitled.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the Mac Royals of Untitled. How does it feel of
Mhm.
of this season?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he sang that
He slayed it.
shizzle down.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
As
did.
Steve says. Okay. All right. Number one. Our number ones.
Our number one.
Our number one.
Our number one.
Our number one has got to be.
It is Aliyah Kaylin. I have
Yes.
nothing. Whitney. Duh.
Y'all, let me tell you something. Was it a text or a call, Stephanie? You texted me the other day.
I texted you.
Yeah, Stephanie texted me, y'all, and she said, I'm mad all over again.
I'm mad all over again.
And I was like, what's going on? And then she told me why she was mad all
Mhm.
over again. And then
Mhm.
that made me angry.
Mm-hmm.
And why are you mad all over again, Stephanie?
My personality is very much so. I am a rule follower. I'm a guideline person. Whatever something is, okay, that's what we're doing, right? So,
Plan.
yeah, let's stick with the plan. Right. So that's made
Don't do it with Stephanie, y'all.
no, that makes this show challenging for me sometimes because it's called The Voice. So for me, whoever displays their voice the best should continue to move forward, continue to move forward, and that does not happen.
Wouldn't you vote that way all the time, right? If you were a coach on that show?
Yes. And you said the optimum word just then, coach. because we are still at the point in the show where it's not up to America, because I don't trust America when it comes to this. But I tend to trust the coaches more. I have withdrawn from that feeling after this season because not only because Aliyah was asked, not only because Aliyah was asked to sing "I Have Nothing" by Whitney, but that she executed it incredibly. Her version was of higher difficulty than the recorded version that we're used to hearing from Whitney. And you can tell that in the studio, she executed to perfection by the way every single coach was standing and reacting. Gwen, Michael, Reba, Snoop were all up as she is singing this slow song in awe and reacting to this performance. She did not move through to the lives. And that's what made me angry. And that's what let me know. No, I already knew. That is what further confirmed to me and should confirm to you that this show is about the voice.
Okay,
However, it is also about a narrative. It is also a reality show. It is also a produced show where they would like a certain thing to
be highlighted.
So,
yep.
And that makes me angry. Because if anybody should have been in the lives,
if anyone, even above our winners,
yes.
And at this point, I'm talking about this point,
yes.
y'all. We're talking this round,
yes.
Body of work.
I think that she's been my number one. Has she been my number one every round that we've done?
One or two.
But for this particular selection, there is no reason why she should not have gone to the lives. She gave the single greatest She gave one of the single best performances in the history of this daggone show. Fight me. I said one of. I didn't say the, because there have been a lot. She gave one of the greatest performances in the history of this show. Fight me.
Argue with Miss Stephanie if you want to. You'll lose this argument.
You will. You're gonna lose.
You will. And I know it's all relative, and it's all, left up to interpretation. I get all that. But y'all singing is singing. You don't need to have ears. You don't need to have a trained ear to hear and to witness what you heard.
And to be fair, this is not niche R&B. This is Whitney. This was one of the this is pop. This is one of the biggest songs of all time. And she slayed it.
Still the biggest soundtrack of all time. This was the soundtrack, y'all. Saturday Night Fever. Just to give you all a quick history. Saturday Night Fever held that record for like almost 30 years. And then The Bodyguard hit. And this is, y'all, what she did at the end of this song, some of the runs that she did, some of the things that she actually took up that Whitney didn't even do. It's like somebody got a JD, a PhD, and an MD, right? Talk about the highest degrees you can. The highest degrees. JD, PhD, MD, in one song. She defended 3 dissertations. She did. I can't say much more. Stephanie eloquently spoke to exactly how I was feeling, exactly how both of us have felt about this. And to go back and listen to it again in our good ears, to really take our time, but we're not like trying to get through and
right.
listen to a whole bunch of people and come up with a episode, right? It was spectacular. It was one of the greatest I've ever seen on the show. So, Aliyah, sis, keep on shining.
Yes.
And we really, really do hope that we see you break into this industry, because you are a star. You're a star and a half.
You are.
You're 2 stars, Aliyah.
I just wanted to say, because I wrote this down, number 1, Nippy would have been cheering her on.
Yes,
for y'all that don't know, that is a nickname for Whitney Houston, Nippy.
Look, y'all, only people from Jersey can say
Nippy. And I just want to say that Aliyah brought such elegance and excellence to this performance.
Yeah. So there it is, you all. So, as we always like to say here on the Pitchy Podcast, Stephanie, tell them what they need to hear.
All right. So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And while you're there, please remember to rate and subscribe so new listeners can find us. Also, make sure you are following us on YouTube. Search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more. And lastly, just another reminder that we are on Patreon. There will be so much content for you, especially as the new season of NBC's The Voice arrives. You'll get to watch parts of the show along with me and you will get the main feed podcasts early and you will get a lot of bonus content along with that. The link is always right there below in the description and on the screen, and you can find it on our IG page as well. As James has said, it's only $5, so we think that is worth it. If you like us, it's worth it.
Give me a quick subliminal message. All right, you all. I will see you for our final episode when it comes to the lives.
Yes.
Our best live. This is a hard one because there's quite a few song choices to choose from.
Yes, there are.
We will, and we do include instant, not saving.
Yes, instant saves.
Sudden deaths, right? We include sudden deaths in this, don't we?
Instant save, sudden death.
Yeah.
I know what one of James' picks is gonna be.
All right, you all. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.